Hey Calculus kids, this is Dr. Callahan for week 11, it's Friday. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week. And yay for Friday, it's the last day of the week before the weekend. So go ahead and answer the following 3 questions, and then we will get started shortly. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. So I'm just going to jump right in. I know the last couple of days we talked about related rates, which are pretty difficult for the most part. Today, I'm going to give you guys kind of like a semi break from it. And so you can kind of go back and review a few other things. That's a easier version of related rates. This is a breakdown for today. And let's go ahead and get started with this. So if you take a look at your notes, week 11, Friday, this is your notes for today. Your first page is going to be on related rates. Some of these questions, I'm sure you're looking, you're like, wait a second, this doesn't look like it's super difficult. And it's not, because it's not a word problem, so it doesn't require that critical thinking component. But these are still related rates because they're implicit differentiations, which every time you go ahead and solve for either x or y, you will still have to include the dy over dt, which is a rate of change for y, and dx over dt, which is a rate of change for x. And so this is like an easier version of that, which is a good thing. Then I'm going to have this part right here, which is a free response question that involved differentiation, implicit differentiation with a second derivative, which we can go over with this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just start off with your guided notes right here. So I'm going to jump right there. If you need the video to answer some of these questions, here is a tiny URL. Everything is lowercase, and you can watch the video, and the video will go ahead and go over these answers for you. Now, I would suggest you probably want to try this on your own first, and then if you get stuck, you don't have to watch the video in its entirety, maybe just pieces of it and fast forward to it, whatever else you need. So let's go ahead and take a look at this and see if we can go over a few questions. So first question right here. So for A, it's asking you to find dy over dt when x equals 3 and given dx over dt equals 2. So first thing, you want to go ahead and distribute that. So y equals 2x squared minus 6x. And when you go ahead and find the derivative of this, derivative of y is just 1, but keep in mind you have a dy over dt, which is equal to use the power rule, 4x dx over dt minus 6 dx over dt. And once you have this, you want to go ahead and substitute the numbers in there. So I have dy over dt, which I don't know what it is because I'm trying to find that. So dy over dt is equal to 4x, x is 3, dx over dt, which is just 2, minus 6 times 2. 4 times 3 is 12, 12 times 2 is 24, minus 12 is going to give you 12 as your dy over dt. So now that I went ahead and went over this one with you, I hope you realize this is a lot easier than the related rates problem with word problems. But that's good because we're going to take a little break from that because I know it was overwhelming. Okay, so number 8, you're now throwing in trig functions with it, with the derivative of trig. So it says find dy over dt when x equals pi over 4, given that dx over dt is 2 centimeters per second. So the derivative of y is just 1 dy over dt, or just dy over dt. Now remember, the derivative of sine x is cosine x. So this is just going to be cosine x dx over dt. Now I want to go ahead and substitute the givens in there, and it's given to you that x is 1/4, dx is 2, so I'm going to have dy over dt equals cosine pi. And I think one of the reasons why my pen is not working, it might be that me new batteries, I don't know, we'll have to see, times dx over dt, so times by 2. And then if I go ahead and simplify that, I am going to have Thinking about the unit circle, where is cosine pi over 4? Right here. I hope you realize that that dy over dt is going to equal to cosine pi over 4 as square root 2 over 2 times 2, which is just going to give you a 2 and 2 cancels, square root 2. And that's your dy over dt. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump on in with number 18 and 24, where it is asking you to find the volume of a sphere and the volume of a cone. So let's take a look at the first one. All right, so looking at this, dv over dt, well, the volume of sphere is volume equals 4/3 pi r cubed. So derivative of v is going to be a dv over dt, which is equal to, remember I told you that 4 over 3 pi is just a constant, so you're going to treat it as if it is just a constant, and you're not going to do anything with it. So you just put 4 over 3 pi, and then apply the power rule to r cubed, so bring the 3 down, so you have a 3 r squared, d r over dt. Okay, and so then after this point, you can see that you can go ahead and cancel the 3's. And then it's given to you that r is 6, so I'm going to put r squared, which is 36. And then dr over dt is just a 2. So I now need to take 4 times 36 times 2, which is then going to give me 288 pi. And then my unit is inches cubed because I'm dealing with volume per minute. All right, let's take a look at number 24. Number 24 says the volume of the cone is, by that equation, find the dh over dt when height is 8, given that dv over dt is 10. Okay, so let's go ahead and substitute first, okay, because your job is find dh over dt, and clearly you don't have any of that here yet. So dv over dt is, no, let's see, how do I want to set this up? Sorry, I'm looking at this and I'm like, I'm not quite sure how I want to first approach this. Okay, now I kind of have an idea. All right, so your volume of a cone, let's draw a picture here. Here's your volume of a cone. It's given to you that the radius, or the diameter on top is changing with a 10. And then the height of this is going to be a 12. And if you go ahead and extract this triangle out, you should see that this is 12. Half of 10 is going to be a 5. And then, of course, your water is going to be seeping out of this. So I have my height right here, and then my radius in there. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set this up. So I'm going to have my radius over 5 is equal to height over 12. So then I'm going to go ahead and cross multiply this. So I have 12r is equal to 5h. And given the fact that I want to find dh over dt, I have to go ahead and solve. So r is equal to something something h, because I want everything in terms of h, because I'm trying to find dh over dt. So I solve for r. So if I solve for r, I have r equals 5 over 12h. So then what I want to do is when I look at my formula right here, I'm going to try to plug that in. Okay, so I have volume is equal to pi. My radius is 5 over 12 h squared times h, all the way over 3. And I want to simplify this a little bit more. So then I'm going to have 5 times 5, which is 25. 12 times 12 is 144. So then that is going to equal to, don't forget your pi, 25 over 144. H squared times h is h the third, all the way over 3. Well, remember, I don't like having a fraction on top of a fraction. So it's the same thing as if you were writing pi 25 over 144 h cubed divided by 3, or times by 1/3, in which case so 144 and 3 will be multiplied, and then you'll have a pi 25 h the third all the way over 432. Once I have it in this format, okay, because volume equals this, I can now go up ahead and proceed to finding the dv over dt. Because it's given to me that dv over dt is 10, so I want to find the derivative of volume. So I can set equal to 10. So v prime, or dv over dt, is equal to, treat the pi 25 over 432 as a constant. Bring down your 3, apply the power rule, and this is what you have, dh over dt. And then at this point, you should have 25 times 3, which is going to give you a 75. And so then I'm going to set the dv over dt to 10. 10 equals 75 pi over 432 h squared. But then it's also given to you that h is 8. So that's 64 dh over dt. Now remember, our goal is to find dh over dt. So I'm going to go ahead and work my magic to see if I can go ahead and solve for this. But first, I probably want to multiply and reduce some of the stuff here. So let's see. Let's just try to reduce some of this stuff. 432 divided by 4 is going to give me 108. Same thing over here. 64 divided by 4 is going to give me a 16. 108 divided by 4 is going to give me a 27. 16 divided by 4 is a 4. I think that's as far as I can go. Yeah, I don't, oh, and you know what? I think I can go ahead and reduce the numerator with 3. 75 divided by 3 is going to give me a 25. 27 divided by 3 is going to give me a 9. And I think that's as far as I can go. So if I were to rewrite this, I'm doing this without a calculator, so I'm looking at this going, I hope this is making sense. 25 times 4 is 100 over 9. Don't forget your pi. I need to get a new battery for my pen. dh over dt. And if I were to solve for dh over dt, I'm going to do dh over dt is equal to, if I were to get rid of 100 over 9, I would do a 9 times 100 on both sides. So if 9 times 100, and then I'm going to have it divided by the pi, so my pi is going to be on the bottom now, and then 10 is still going to be on the same side. So that's a 10. Come on. Just keep working until the end of this PowerPoint. So then I have a 10 over 1. That's a 10. Come on, keep working. And then so my answer is 9 over 10 pi. Please just work. Oh my goodness. Okay, maybe don't work. Hold on, let me erase that. That looks really bad. I don't even know what that is. Hold on. So 9 over 10 pi. Okay, and that's your dH over dt. All right, you guys. So, I hope you're feeling good about this. I know this is a bit of work, but I think this is important to do in order to understand how you're dealing with this. I think for number 2, it's not too bad. Number 28 is not too bad either. Number 28, you will have to use the Pythagorean theorem. And then number 16 is not too bad either. So I'm going to have you guys go ahead and give those a try and see where you land in terms of this. Let me go ahead and again, you have your video on the very end in case you do need assistance with this. So of course that's helpful. The link is on the very bottom. And, I think I'm going to go over one more with this with you guys. Let's go over one more. Okay, let's go ahead and attempt to do number 28. Okay, so for number 28, it is given to you that find dB over dt when b equals 2.5, given that dH over dt is 0.15. I'm not really quite sure about this one. Maybe I'll just watch a video. Yeah, just go ahead and watch the video. Let's see if there's another one. I think that's about it. I think I'm gonna stop right there. Oops. Let's go ahead and take a look at the questions for the free response question. We'll go back over here. Okay, so here you have the implicit differentiation. A asks you to write an expression for the slope of the curve at any point for x and y. B asks you to find the equation of the tangent line. And then C, find the second derivative for 0, 4. So go ahead and pause the video and give that a try. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the answers. Here are the answers for part A, B, and C. Take a moment to see if any questions about it. And if you do, feel free to ask me about that in class. All right, you guys, I hope you have a wonderful evening. And as always, stay safe and healthy. Don't forget your math Excel and also the assessment for this week. As always, take care.